Have you ever wondered what happens when a being created in heaven, standing right next to God, decides that heaven is not enough? What happens when pride grows so big inside someone that they would rather fall than bow? Today we are going to talk about 7 fallen angels mentioned in the Bible, who they were before they fell, why they rebelled, and what happened to them after. Some of these names you already know. Some of them might surprise you, and by the end of this video, you will understand something deeper about pride, rebellion, and the price that comes with turning away from God. So stay with me till the end, because the last one on this list is something most people never talk about. And before we start, if you enjoy learning about the Bible in a simple and honest way, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel, because it truly helps us bring more videos like this one to you. Let's begin with the most famous fallen angel of all, Lucifer, also known as Satan. In the beginning, Lucifer was not evil. According to the Bible, he was one of the most beautiful and powerful angels God ever created. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28, verse 12 to 15, God describes him as the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. He was covered with precious stones, and he was placed in the garden of God. He was called a guardian cherub, someone close to the throne of God itself. Can you imagine that? A being so glorious that even his appearance reflected the glory of heaven. But something changed inside him. Pride entered his heart. In Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 to 15, the Bible describes how he wanted to rise above the stars of God. He said in his heart, "I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit on the mount of the assembly. I will make myself like the Most High." Do you see the pattern here? 5 times he said, "I will." Not God's will, his will. That is where the fall began, not with an action, but with a thought, a desire to replace God instead of serve him. Because of this pride, he was thrown down from heaven. Jesus himself said in Luke chapter 10, verse 18, "I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven." Imagine that image. Something so bright, once shining with glory, suddenly falling like a flash of light, losing its place forever. In Revelation chapter 12, we read that he did not fall alone. He convinced 1/3 of the angels in heaven to follow him. This is one of the most tragic events in all of Scripture, a rebellion that pulled countless heavenly beings down with him. Today, this fallen angel is described as the accuser, the deceiver, the father of lies. He no longer walks in the glory of heaven. He now works in darkness, trying to pull others down the same path he chose for himself. His story is a warning about how pride, even a single prideful thought, can lead to a fall so great that it never fully heals. And what makes his story even more haunting is that he still remembers what he lost. He knows exactly what glory feels like, and some believe that is what fuels his hatred toward humanity, the fact that beings made lower than angels are still offered the very relationship with God that he threw away. Now let's talk about our second group, and this one is a little different because it's not just one angel, but a whole group known as the sons of God, or sometimes called the Watchers. In Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 to 4, we read something strange and mysterious. The sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves. This short passage has puzzled Bible scholars for centuries. Many believe these sons of God were angels who left their proper place in heaven and came down to earth, breaking the boundary God had set for them. The book of Jude, verse 6, speaks about angels who did not keep their own position but left their proper dwelling. Because of this, God has kept them in everlasting chains, in darkness, waiting for judgment. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4 also confirms this. It says God did not spare the angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell, putting them in chains of darkness to be held for judgment. Why is this so serious? Because these were beings who were given a specific role and boundary by God, and they chose to abandon it. Their rebellion was not just pride like Lucifer's. It was disobedience, stepping outside the very order God had designed for creation. And the punishment reflects the seriousness of that choice. Not a temporary discipline, but chains of darkness, waiting for a final judgment that has not yet come. Some ancient Jewish writings, like the Book of Enoch, go even further, describing these watchers as teaching forbidden knowledge to mankind, secrets about warfare, sorcery, and things humanity was never meant to carry. While this book is not part of the official Bible, it shaped a lot of the traditions surrounding this event, and it shows just how seriously ancient believers took this rebellion. It makes you think, doesn't it? Sometimes rebellion is not a loud declaration of war against God. Sometimes it's simply refusing to stay where you were placed, quietly crossing a line that was never meant to be crossed. Our third fallen figure connects closely with these watchers. His name is Azazel. Azazel is mentioned directly in Leviticus chapter 16, verses 8 to 10, in the context of the Day of Atonement, where a goat, symbolically carrying the sins of the people, was sent away into the wilderness for Azazel. This is where we get the phrase scapegoat. But outside of Leviticus, Jewish tradition and ancient writings describe Azazel as one of the leaders among the fallen watchers, a being blamed for teaching humanity things they were never meant to know, like the making of weapons and the art of corrupting beauty and vanity. What makes Azazel's story so unsettling is that his influence wasn't meant to stay hidden in some faraway heavenly battle. It was meant to reach directly into human life, into human choices, into the way people began to look at themselves and each other. Whether you view Azazel as a symbolic name or an actual fallen being, the theme remains the same. Knowledge and power, when given without wisdom or humility, can corrupt. Azazel represents corruption spreading from heaven to earth, the fallen influence reaching into human history, human sin, and human suffering. It's a sobering thought that rebellion in heaven did not stay in heaven. It touched the earth, and its effects rippled through generations. Now, let's talk about our fourth fallen angel, one whose name might be familiar if you've read the Gospels, Beelzebub. In Matthew chapter 12, verse 24, the Pharisees accused Jesus of casting out demons by the power of Beelzebub, calling him the prince of demons. This name is fascinating because it likely comes from an ancient pagan god called Beelzebub, worshipped by the Philistines, meaning Lord of the Flies. Over time, this name became associated with a powerful demonic ruler, a fallen being who commands other evil spirits. Jesus responded to this accusation with wisdom, saying that a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand, showing that his power came from God, not from darkness. But the passage confirms something important. There is a hierarchy even among fallen beings. Some fell simply by following. Others fell into positions of leadership within darkness itself. Beelzebub represents that darker level of fallen power, one that actively opposes the work of God on earth, standing as an adversary to truth and light. Our fifth fallen angel appears in one of the most mysterious and terrifying books of the Bible, Revelation. His name is Abaddon, also called Apollyon. In Revelation chapter 9, verse 11, during the vision of the fifth trumpet, locusts come out of the abyss with a king over them, the angel of the bottomless pit. His name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek, Apollyon, both meaning destroyer. This is one of the few fallen beings given a direct title as a king, a ruler over the forces released from the abyss during the end times. What makes Abaddon different is his connection to a specific place, the abyss, a bottomless pit associated with judgment and imprisonment for evil spirits. This suggests a fallen being reserved for a very specific, terrifying purpose in the final days described in Revelation. His name itself, Destroyer, tells us everything about his nature and his role. Unlike Lucifer, who once had beauty, or the Watchers, who once had freedom, Abaddon seems tied entirely to destruction and judgment from the very description we're given. There's no mention of former glory here, only a chilling title that fits exactly what he represents. It's a chilling reminder that Scripture doesn't just describe fallen angels of the past. It also warns us about darker forces still to come. If you're finding this video interesting so far, don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel, because we still have 2 more fallen angels to talk about. And the last one might completely change how you look at the story of good and evil. Our 6th entry is not a single named angel, but a group described in Revelation chapter 12, verses 7 to 9, simply called the dragon's angels. This passage describes an actual war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. The dragon is identified clearly. This is the great dragon, the ancient serpent, called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to the earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. This is the same rebellion we talked about with Lucifer, but seen from a different angle, a battle, a war fought in the heavens themselves. These angels, sometimes referred to as demons today, chose loyalty to their leader over loyalty to God. They lost the war, and they lost their place in heaven forever. What stands out here is the word throne. Not a peaceful departure, not a quiet exile, but a forceful casting down, a defeat. It shows us that no matter how organized or determined rebellion against God may be, it ultimately fails and it ultimately falls. And now, our 7th and final fallen entity, one that appears in a story most people know, but rarely connect to fallen angels directly, Legion. In Mark chapter 5, and also in Luke chapter 8, Jesus meets a man possessed by an overwhelming number of demons. When Jesus asks for a name, the reply is chilling. "My name is Legion, for we are many." This wasn't one fallen spirit, but an entire multitude working together to torment a single human being, isolating him, controlling him, and causing him unimaginable suffering. What happened next shows the power of God over every fallen being, no matter how many there are. Jesus commanded these spirits to leave the man, and they entered a herd of pigs, which then rushed into the sea. In an instant, the man who had been chained and tormented was sitting calmly, clothed, and in his right mind. Think about that transformation for a moment. A man so tormented that people avoided him, so strong in his suffering that chains could not hold him, was healed with nothing more than a single command. No battle, no struggle, just authority. This story reminds us that no matter how overwhelming darkness may seem, no matter how many fallen forces gather against a single soul, they hold no true power in the presence of God. Legion represents the terrifying scale that evil can reach, but also the complete authority God has over every single one of them, no matter their number. So, let's take a moment and look back at everything we've covered. Lucifer, who fell because of pride, wanting to sit on God's throne. The sons of God, who fell because they abandoned the place they were given. Azazel, associated with corruption spreading from heaven into human history. Beelzebub, a ruler among demons who directly opposed the work of Jesus. Abaddon, the destroyer, tied to judgment in the last days. The dragon's angels, defeated in a literal war in heaven. And Legion, an overwhelming force of fallen spirits, still powerless before the authority of God. When you look at all 7 together, a clear pattern begins to form. Every single fall began with a choice. A choice to want more than what was given. A choice to leave the place that was assigned. A choice to follow pride, power, or rebellion instead of humility and obedience. And in every single case, no matter how much power these fallen beings held, none of them could ever escape the authority of God. Not Lucifer with his beauty and wisdom, not the Watchers with their strength, not Legion with their overwhelming number. Every single one of them, defeated, bound, or judged. It makes you think about your own life too, doesn't it? About pride, about the places we're given and whether we stay faithful to them. About the difference between wanting more out of ambition and wanting more out of rebellion. These ancient stories, as mysterious and dark as they are, carry a timeless lesson. Rebellion may seem powerful for a moment, but it always leads to a fall. And no matter how dark the story gets, Scripture always reminds us that there is a greater power watching over everything, one that darkness has never been able to overcome. What's interesting is that the Bible never presents these fallen angels as equals to God, not even close. They are described as creatures, limited, defeated, and ultimately awaiting judgment. Even at their most powerful moments, they still operate under boundaries they cannot cross without permission. That alone tells us something important about the nature of good and evil in Scripture. Darkness is real, and it is dangerous, but it is never in control. It never has been, and according to these passages, it never will be. Every single fall we talked about today ends the same way, not with fallen angels winning, but with them losing the very thing they wanted most, closeness to God. And maybe that's the real lesson hidden inside all 7 of these stories. The true power was never found in rebellion. It was always found in staying close to the one who gave them their place to begin with. What's interesting is that the Bible never presents these fallen angels as equals to God, not even close. They are described as creatures, limited, defeated, and ultimately awaiting judgment. Even at their most powerful moments, they still operate under boundaries they cannot cross without permission. They may possess knowledge, influence, and abilities beyond humans, but they remain created beings. They are not creators. They are not sovereign. They are not beyond the authority of God. This distinction is extremely important because throughout history, many myths and legends have portrayed dark spiritual beings as equal forces battling against a divine power. But the biblical perspective is very different. Scripture does not describe a battle between 2 equal sides. It describes a creator whose authority is absolute and creatures who, despite their rebellion, are still under his command. That alone tells us something important about the nature of good and evil in Scripture. Darkness is real, and it is dangerous, but it is never in control. Evil can influence hearts, spread deception, and create suffering in the world, but it has never had the final authority. The Bible consistently reveals that even when darkness appears strongest, God's plan continues moving forward. The stories of these fallen beings also reveal something about the danger of pride. Their downfall did not begin with weakness. It began with believing they could become something greater than what they were created to be. They looked away from the purpose they were given and started seeking a position that was never theirs to claim. And this is a warning that reaches far beyond the story of angels. Pride has always been one of the greatest dangers mentioned throughout Scripture. It can cause anyone, regardless of their gifts, knowledge, or position, to forget where their blessings came from. The same desire that caused rebellion in heaven can also create distance between people and God today. Every single fall we talked about today ends the same way, not with fallen angels winning, but with them losing the very thing they wanted most, closeness to God. They searched for independence, but found separation. They searched for glory, but found shame. They searched for freedom from God's authority, but discovered that true freedom was only found within His purpose. Their story is a reminder that power without wisdom is dangerous, and greatness without humility eventually collapses. The greatest beings can fall, and the smallest acts of faithfulness can have eternal value. And maybe that's the real lesson hidden inside all 7 of these stories. True power was never found in rebellion. It was never found in pride, ambition, or the desire to stand above others. True power was always found in humility, obedience, and staying close to the one who gave them their place to begin with. The story of the fallen angels is not simply a story about the past. It is a reminder for every generation that our choices matter. Every decision shapes who we become. Every step away from truth creates distance, and every step toward God brings us closer to the purpose we were created for. So when we study these mysterious stories from Scripture, we are not only learning about fallen angels, we are learning about the human heart, the consequences of pride, and the importance of remaining faithful even when temptation appears attractive. Because in the end, the greatest victory was never about gaining more power. The greatest victory was always about remaining connected to the source of all true power. If this video helped you understand something new about the Bible today, please take a second to hit the like button. Leave a comment telling us which fallen angel surprised you the most. And subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the next video, because we have many more incredible biblical stories coming your way very soon. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Your support means a lot, and we are grateful that you joined us as we explored these fascinating mysteries hidden within the pages of Scripture. Stay tuned, because next time we're going to dive into another mysterious topic straight from the Bible, one that may reveal secrets, challenge your perspective, and change the way you see the world around you. Until then, continue seeking truth, continue exploring, and we'll see you in the next one.